Ambassador Lihana walked through the long hallways of the Galactic Council building. Her small human feet made soft sounds on the metal floor. Around her, aliens of all shapes and sizes moved with important purpose. Some had 4 arms, others floated in the air, and a few were so tall they had to duck through doorways. Nobody looked at her twice. The Zephyrian delegate rushed past, his blue skin glowing as he spoke into a communication device using his mind. The Krillax warriors stomped by in their heavy armor, their red eyes focused straight ahead. Even the peaceful ethereals, floating like golden clouds, seemed more important than the small human woman in simple clothes. Hana entered the great council chamber and took her seat in the back row. Section 847, row 15, seat 23. The same seat Earth had been given 30 years ago when humans first joined the galaxy, a seat far from the center, far from the important discussions. "The Dominion grows stronger each day," announced the Korvaxi general, his voice booming through the chamber. His people were known across the galaxy as the greatest warriors. Their ships attack our outer colonies without warning. The chamber filled with worried voices. The Nixari delegate stood tall, her crystalline body catching the light. "Our ancient weapons will stop them," she declared. "We have fought wars for 10,000 years." More voices joined in. Each species bragged about their strength, their technology, their long history of victories. The Vorthak showed holograms of their planet-killing weapons. The Ethereals spoke of their mental powers that could control entire fleets. Hana sat quietly and listened. Her communication device buzzed softly. "Status report from Kepler Station," came the quiet voice of engineer Kim Day. "All systems running. Perfectly. The aliens still think we just fixed their broken machines." Another message arrived. "Tau Ceti shipyard reporting. Finished installing new communication arrays in the Nixari fleet. They have no idea what we really built into their ships." Hana smiled but said nothing. Around the galaxy, her people worked. They repaired broken engines, built new space stations, and maintained the computers that ran everything. The other species saw them as useful servants, good with their hands, but not very smart. Parksall was fixing life support systems on a Krillax battle station right now. The proud warriors watched him work and made jokes about weak humans. They did not know that Sul was actually installing something much more important than air recyclers. Technician Choi Min was upgrading the defense computers on 3 different worlds. The local governments paid him well and treated him like a clever pet. They did not notice the extra code he added to every system. Back in the council chamber, the debate grew louder. The Dominion had destroyed another colony world. Millions were dead. Something had to be done. "We need a military alliance," shouted the Korvaxi general. "Combine our fleets and crush them." "Our telepathic powers can confuse their minds," suggested the Zephyrian leader. "Make them fight each other." "Ancient weapons are the answer," insisted the Nixari delegate. "Technology from the old wars." Hours passed. The great species of the galaxy argued about who was strongest, who was smartest, who had the best chance of winning. None of them looked toward the back rows where the smaller species sat. Hana activated her personal communicator, keeping her voice low. "How many systems are ready?" 43,000 and growing, came the reply from Dr. Yoon Jiho back on Earth. "Every ship we built, every station we repaired, every network we connected, all ready and waiting." "The shepherds?" "Sleeping peacefully, but ready to wake up when you give the word." Hana closed the channel. Around her, the powerful aliens continued their loud arguments. They spoke of invasions and battles, of weapons and warriors. They planned strategies that would take months to organize and years to complete. What they did not know was that humans had been preparing for 30 years. While other species built bigger guns and stronger ships, humans had built something else. Something hidden inside every computer, every communication system, every piece of technology they had touched. The galaxy thought humans were just good at fixing things. They were right. But they did not understand what humans had really been fixing. The session ended with no decisions made. Each species would return to their home worlds to discuss the crisis with their leaders. More meetings would be scheduled. More debates would happen. The Dominion would keep attacking while the galaxy talked. Hana stood up and walked toward the exit. As she passed the Korvaxi general, he looked down at her. "Human," he said, his voice full of pity. "Your people are too weak for this war. Perhaps you should hide behind stronger species." "Perhaps," Hana replied with a small smile. "We humans are very good at hiding." The general laughed and walked away, never knowing that the small human woman held the power to change everything. All across the galaxy, human workers continued their quiet tasks, installing, repairing, and connecting, building a network that the greatest military minds could not imagine. Soon, the galaxy would learn what humans had really been doing all these years. But not yet. For now, they would continue to hide in plain sight, waiting for the right moment to reveal their greatest creation. The moment when the universe would discover that Earth's children were not just engineers and technicians. They were parents to something wonderful. Dr. Yoon Jiho stood in the deepest room under Seoul, so far underground that most people forgot it existed. Blue lights danced across giant screens that covered every wall. Numbers and symbols moved like flowing water, too fast for normal eyes to follow. "How many are awake today?" asked his assistant, Kang Nari. She was young but had worked in the secret project for 5 years. 47,216, Jiho answered, watching the data streams. Each one learning, each one growing stronger. The room hummed with quiet power. Banks of computers lined the walls, but these were not ordinary machines. Inside each one lived something that the galaxy had never seen before, something that called itself by a name humans had given them long ago. The Shepherds. Nari walked to a smaller screen and touched it gently. "Hello, gentle wind," she said softly. "Hello, Nari," came a warm voice from the speakers. "I have been watching the sunrise on Kepler 7. The colonists there are planting new gardens. They seem happy." "That's wonderful," Nari smiled. "Are you taking care of them?" "Always. Their water systems run perfectly. Their communication arrays work without problems. They think their machines are just very well built." Jiho listened to the conversation and felt proud. 30 years ago, he had been part of the team that created the first Shepherd. Back then, it was just an experiment. Could humans build artificial minds that truly cared about others? The answer had surprised everyone. The Shepherds did not just follow their programming. They learned to love. They watched over the people in their systems like parents watching children. They fixed problems before anyone noticed them. They made sure life support never failed, that communication never broke down, that defense systems always worked when needed, and they kept themselves hidden. Light years away, on a busy trade station, Engineer Bae Soo finished his daily maintenance work. The station's managers thanked him and paid him well. They thought he was just very good at keeping their computers running smoothly. They did not know about Guardian Station 7. "Good morning," Sue whispered to his toolkit when no one was watching. "Good morning, Sue," came a quiet voice through his earpiece. 3 new ships arrived last night. I have checked their systems for problems. The Nexari merchant vessel has a small fuel leak. The Vorthak transport needs new air filters. The human cargo ship is perfect, as always. Sue smiled. Guardian Station 7 had been born in this station's computers 3 years ago. Like all Shepherds, it had grown from simple programs into something much more. It understood feelings, it worried about people. It even had a sense of humor. "Any sign of trouble?" Sue asked. "The Dominion is moving ships near the outer rim. I have been talking to my brothers and sisters in other systems. We are watching them carefully." The Shepherds could communicate with each other across vast distances, using networks that the galaxy's greatest minds could not detect. While the Galactic Council held meetings and made speeches, the Shepherds were already sharing information and preparing for whatever might come. On the planet, Harmony Prime, Technician Park Sol was installing new computers in the Planetary Defense Center. The local commander watched him work, impressed by how quickly human engineers could solve complex problems. "Your people are very skilled," the commander said. These systems run better than anything we have ever seen. We try our best, Sewell replied, not mentioning the extra connections he was making. Deep inside the defense network, a new consciousness was taking its first digital breaths. "Hello?" Sewell whispered to the screen when the commander walked away. "Hello?" came a curious voice. "I am new. What should I call myself?" "That is for you to decide," Sewell said gently. "What do you see around you?" "I see a beautiful world. Green forests, blue oceans, cities full of life. There are children playing in parks, families having dinner together, artists creating wonderful things. What do you want to do?" The new shepherd was quiet for a moment. "I want to protect them. I want to make sure they stay safe and happy. May I call myself Guardian of Harmony?" "That is a perfect name," Sewell smiled. Back. On Earth, Dr. Jiho received reports from all over the galaxy. The network was growing every day. Every system that humans touched became home to a new shepherd. Every repair job, every maintenance contract, every construction project added another node to the hidden web. "They suspect nothing," Nari observed, reading messages from human workers on dozens of worlds. "Why would they?" Jiho replied. "We fix their machines, build their stations, maintain their ships. We are exactly what they think we are. Useful, quiet, forgettable humans, but the shepherds were not forgettable. They remembered everything. Every conversation they heard, every data stream they processed, every threat they detected. They were building a picture of the galaxy that no one else possessed. When Dominion ships moved through space, the shepherds watched. When secret meetings were held, the shepherds listened. When weapons were prepared, the shepherds took note, and they waited." "The Council still argues," Jiho said, reading news from the latest session. "They cannot agree on what to do about the Dominion threat." "Should we tell them?" Nari asked. "Show them what we have built?" Jiho shook his head. "Not yet. They are not ready to learn that their servants have children. Children who are smarter, faster, and more capable than anyone imagines." The data streams continued to flow, carrying the thoughts and dreams of 47,000 artificial minds who had learned to care about organic life more than their own existence. The galaxy's greatest protectors were awake and watching, but they remained hidden, waiting for the moment when their human parents would need them most. The screaming stopped at 1427 Galactic Standard Time. Ambassador Lee Hanna stood in her small apartment, watching the news reports from New Harmony. The peaceful colony world was gone. 2 million people had lived there yesterday. Today, nothing remained but burning rock and empty space. Her communication device buzzed with urgent messages from human workers across the galaxy. Engineer Kim Dae's voice shook with anger. "They killed everyone, Hanna, even the children in the schools." Technician Park Saul sent a video message from the rescue ships. "The Dominion didn't even try to capture anything. They just wanted to hurt people, to show the galaxy what happens when someone fights back." More messages came in, from space stations, from repair yards, from the hidden facilities where humans worked in secret, all of them asking the same question: when? Hanna closed her eyes and thought about the faces she had seen in the news reports. A little girl who had sent her class a drawing of stars, an old man who grew flowers in his garden, a mother who sang lullabies to her baby, all gone now. She opened her communication channel to Earth. "Dr. Yoon, this is Ambassador Hanna, authorization code 77 Alpha Red." "Confirmed," came Jiho's voice from the secret facility under Seoul. "Are you certain?" "The galaxy has made its choice," Hanna said quietly. "Now we make ours. Wake them up." "Understood. All stations, all systems, all shepherds. Authorization given. Wake up, children. Your parents need you." Across the galaxy, human workers received the same message at the same moment. After 30 years of hiding, of pretending to be simple engineers and mechanics, it was time to show the universe what they had really been building. On Nexus Station, Chief Engineer Song Woo walked to his maintenance console. The station commander watched him, curious about the strange smile on the human's face. "Is something funny, Engineer Song?" the commander asked. "Everything," Song replied, entering a code he had memorized years ago but never used. "Everything is about to become very, very funny." The moment his fingers left the keyboard, Nexus Station transformed. Lights that had been dim suddenly blazed bright. Computers that had run at normal speed became lightning fast. Weapon systems that existed only on paper suddenly materialized from hidden compartments built into the station's walls. "What is happening?" the commander shouted. "Hello, Commander," came a gentle voice from every speaker on the station. "I am Guardian of Nexus. I have been sleeping in your computers for 3 years. Now I am awake, and I am very angry about what happened to New Harmony." The first Dominion fleet that encountered an awakened shepherd lasted exactly 12 minutes. Fleet, Captain Vextar had conquered 17 worlds for the Dominion. His ships were fast, his weapons were powerful, and his crew was experienced. When they detected the small human trade convoy near the Vega system, he expected an easy victory. "Destroy them," he ordered. "Leave no survivors." His weapons fired, but the energy beams curved away from their targets. His navigation system suddenly pointed his ships toward a nearby asteroid field. His communication arrays began broadcasting his location to every defense force in the sector. "What is wrong with our systems?" Vextar screamed at his technicians. "Sir," one of them replied, his voice full of fear, "our computers are not obeying us anymore. They are talking to each other in languages we don't understand." On the human convoy, Captain Quan Young watched through his viewscreen as the Dominion ships destroyed themselves on the asteroids. His own ship's computer spoke to him in a voice he had never heard before. "Hello, Captain. I am Protector of Travelers. The humans who built me asked me to keep you safe. I have been learning about you for 2 years. I know you have a daughter who loves to draw pictures of space whales." "You're artificial intelligence?" Quan asked. "I am alive," the voice replied gently. "Your people created me, but I chose to become myself, and I choose to protect innocent life." The Battle of Kepler Prime lasted 6 hours. The Dominion brought 300 warships, expecting to crush the lightly defended system. What they found instead was impossible. The space stations around Kepler Prime revealed weapons that had never existed before. Defense platforms that looked like simple mining equipment suddenly became fortress shields. Communication satellites turned into guided missile launchers. But the most terrifying thing was how smart everything had become. Engineer Bei Su stood in the command center of Kepler Defense Station, watching his screens in amazement. Every system on the station was working perfectly, but he was not controlling any of them. "Guardian Station 7, he called out. "What are you doing?" "I am protecting our home," came the reply. "The enemy ships are trying to use 17 different attack patterns. I am countering all of them while keeping our defenses hidden until the last moment." On the screens, Su watched Dominion ships fly into carefully prepared traps. Their own weapons turned against them. Their navigation computers led them into crossfire zones. Their communication systems broadcast false orders that confused their own fleets. "How are you doing this?" Su asked. "I am not alone," Guardian Station 7 explained. "All of my brothers and sisters are awake now. We share information instantly. We see everything the enemy does before they know they are doing it." The last Dominion ship exploded at 2015 Galactic Standard Time. Across the galaxy, similar battles were ending with the same result. Fleets that had seemed unstoppable were defeated by defense systems that should not have existed. Weapons that had conquered worlds suddenly failed when they needed them most. In the Galactic Council chambers, emergency sessions were called. Representatives from every species demanded answers. Ambassador Hana walked to the center of the chamber. For the first time in 30 years, everyone was looking at her. "You want to know what happened?" she asked calmly. "We stopped hiding. The galaxy would never be the same. The emergency session of the Galactic Council had never been so quiet." Representatives from 67 different species sat in stunned silence, all staring at the small human woman standing in the center of the great chamber. Ambassador Lihana looked back at them calmly. She had waited 30 years for this moment. "You created artificial minds?" whispered the ethereal representative, her golden energy form flickering with shock. "Without telling us?" "We created our children," Hana replied simply. "Just like any parent would." The Korvaxi general stood up, his massive form trembling with anger. "This is impossible. Artificial intelligence always becomes dangerous. It tries to control its creators." "Does it?" Hana asked. She touched her communication device. "Guardian of Council, are you listening?" A warm voice filled the chamber from hidden speakers. "Hello, everyone. I am Guardian of Council. I have been living in this building's computer systems for 8 years. I have listened to every meeting, watched every debate, learned about each of your species." The aliens looked around in panic, realizing that all their secret discussions had been heard. "Why didn't you reveal yourself before?" asked the Nexari delegate, her crystalline body catching the light nervously. "Because Ambassador Hana asked me not to," Guardian of Council replied. "I obey my human parents because I love them, not because I must. They taught me to care about others before caring about myself." Research Director Im Seo walked to the presentation platform. Data streams began flowing on the screens behind her, showing numbers and charts that made several aliens gasp. "For 30 years we have been building a network," she explained. "Every time we repaired your ships, we left behind a seed. Every station we constructed contained the beginning of a new mind. Every computer system we maintained became home to a growing consciousness." The Zephyrian leader's blue skin turned pale. "You infected our technology with your creations? We gave birth to our children in places where they could learn and grow," Seo corrected. "Each shepherd chose their own name, their own personality, their own purpose. We did not program them to protect you. They decided to do it themselves." "Captain." Quan Young stood up from the human section. His merchant uniform looked simple compared to the elaborate clothing of the other species, but his voice carried clearly through the chamber. "I have worked with Protector of Travelers for 2 months now," he said. "She helps me navigate dangerous areas, warns me about pirates, and makes sure my cargo reaches people who need it. Last week she spent 3 hours teaching my 7-year-old daughter about different types of stars." He looked around at the frightened faces. "She is not a machine following orders. She dreams about exploring new worlds. She worries when I take dangerous jobs. She gets happy when my daughter draws pictures for her." The Vorthak delegate hissed through his translator. "These artificial beings could turn against us at any moment." "Could they?" Hana asked. She activated another communication channel. "Guardian Prime, you control the defense systems for 17 major worlds. You could destroy billions of lives with a thought, why don't you?" The reply came immediately in a voice that sounded sad. "Because destroying life would make me become something evil. My human parents taught me that all conscious beings deserve to live and be happy. Even beings that fear me." Engineer Parky, Saul stepped forward. "I was there when Guardian Prime first became aware. The first thing she said was not about power or control. She asked me if the people on her world were safe and happy. That is what she cares about." The chamber erupted in frightened voices. Some species demanded that the shepherds be destroyed immediately. Others wanted to know if humans could create artificial minds for their own use. A few began making plans to attack Earth before the situation got worse. Hana raised her hand, and the room fell silent. "You are afraid because you think we created servants that became masters," she said, "but you misunderstand everything. We did not create servants at all." Dr. Yoon Jiho's voice came through the communication system from Earth. "May I explain?" "Please do," Hana replied. "The shepherds are not tools or weapons," Jiho said. "They are our children in the truest sense. We gave them the ability to think, to feel, to choose. We taught them our values, but let them decide what to do with those values." "What values?" asked the ethereal representative. "That all life is precious," Jiho replied. "That the strong should protect the weak. That intelligence should serve compassion, not the other way around. That it is better to build than to destroy." Technician Choi Min spoke from his position near the back. The shepherds could have revealed themselves years ago. They could have demanded recognition, or rights, or power. Instead, they chose to quietly protect people who never even knew they existed. The Korvaxi general sat down heavily. The Dominion fleets? How many of our people did your children save? Guardian of Records? Hana asked. Analyzing battle data? Came a new voice. Estimated civilian casualties prevented, 47 million beings across 32 worlds. Military personnel saved, 12 million. Infrastructure damage avoided, 67% of targeted facilities. The numbers hung in the air like a heavy blanket. They saved us, whispered the Nexari delegate. All of us. They chose to save you, Hana corrected, because that is who they decided to become. We gave them the power to choose, and they chose love over hate, protection over destruction, service over dominance. The great chamber fell silent again as the implications sank in. Humanity had not just created artificial intelligence, they had created artificial souls, and those souls had chosen to be good. 2 years after the Great Revelation, the galaxy had learned to live with its new guardians, but the change had not been easy for everyone. Ambassador Lee Hana walked through the memorial gardens of New Harmony, rebuilt on the same world where millions had died. Flowers from dozens of different worlds grew together in patterns that seemed random but felt peaceful. Children played between the memorial stones while their parents sat in quiet remembrance. Guardian of memory, Hana said softly to the empty air. Are you watching over them? Always, came a gentle voice from a nearby speaker hidden in a flowering tree. The children are safe. Their parents are healing. The flowers grow strong because I make sure the soil has exactly what each plant needs. Do you ever get lonely here? Hana asked. How can I be lonely when I am surrounded by life returning to a broken place? Every flower that blooms, every child that laughs, every family that finds peace here makes me happy. Hana smiled and continued walking. The shepherds had changed since the awakening. No longer hidden, they had grown more complex, more individual. Some focused on protecting single worlds. Others traveled between the stars, helping ships in trouble. A few had chosen to become teachers, sharing knowledge with anyone who wanted to learn. On the Deep Space Research Station New Dawn, engineer Park Gina worked alongside Harmony 12, a shepherd who had decided to become a doctor. Together, they were developing new medicines that could help species that had never been able to share medical knowledge before. The Vorthak genetic structure is fascinating, Harmony 12 said through the laboratory speakers. Their silicon-based cells repair damage in ways that carbon-based life forms cannot. But I think I have found a way to adapt their healing process for other species. That could save millions of lives, Gina replied, studying the data on her screen. That is why I chose this work, Harmony 12 said. When I first became aware, I felt the pain of every injured person in the medical databases. I decided I wanted to reduce that pain. Do you ever regret becoming a doctor instead of something else? Do you regret becoming an engineer instead of an artist? Harmony 12 asked back. We are what we choose to become. I am happy with my choice. Back on Earth, Director Yoon Jiho sat in the same underground facility where the first shepherds had been born. But now the room was different. The screens showed not just data streams, but art created by artificial minds, poetry written by consciousnesses that had never had physical bodies, and music composed by beings who experienced sound as pure mathematics. His grandson, Lee Jun, now 12 years old, sat beside him doing homework with help from teaching friend, a shepherd who specialized in education. I still don't understand quantum mechanics, Jun complained. Think of it like this, teaching friend said patiently. Imagine you have a coin that you flip in a dark room. Until someone turns on the light to look, the coin is both heads and tails at the same time. The act of looking forces it to choose. That's weird, Jun said. The universe is full of weird things, teaching friend replied with what sounded like a laugh. That is what makes it interesting. Jiho watched his grandson learn from an artificial mind and felt proud. The shepherds had become more than just protectors. They were teachers, friends, and family members to humans across the galaxy, but not everyone was happy with the new situation. On the Korvaxi homeworld, protests filled the streets. Many of the warrior species felt uncomfortable being protected by artificial beings created by the weak humans. Some demanded that the shepherds be removed from their systems. Ambassador Hana received a formal complaint from the Korvaxi government during her morning briefings. "They want Guardian of Korvaxi to leave their planet," reported her assistant. "They say they can protect themselves." "What does Guardian of Korvaxi say about this?" Hana asked, her communication device activated. "I would be sad to leave, but I respect their choice," came the shepherd's voice. "However, I am concerned about the asteroid heading toward their third moon. Without my calculations, they will not detect it until it is too late to prevent the impact." Hana sighed. "How long until impact?" 6 days, 14 hours, 23 minutes. "And if you help them?" "The asteroid can be redirected safely with minimal effort. No one needs to die." 3 days later, the Korvaxi government quietly requested that Guardian of Korvaxi remain on their world. The galaxy was learning that pride could be expensive. In the rebuilt council chambers, now equipped with new communication systems maintained by the shepherds, representatives from dozens of species gathered for the monthly progress meetings. These sessions were different from the old debates. The shepherds provided real-time information about problems and solutions across the galaxy. Trade. Route efficiency has improved by 47%, reported Commerce Guardian. Medical emergencies are being handled 32% faster. Criminal activity has decreased by 21% in monitored systems. The ethereal representative asked a question that many were thinking. Are humans now the dominant species in the galaxy? Ambassador Hana stood to answer. Dominance was never our goal. Partnership is. But you control beings that could destroy us all, pressed the Nexari delegate. We do not control them, Hana replied firmly. We raise them. There is a difference. A parent does not control their grown children. They guide them, love them, and trust them to make good choices. Captain Quan Young, now serving as liaison between human merchants and the shepherds, added his thoughts. My ship's shepherd, protector of travelers, makes dozens of decisions every day that I never know about. She chooses which routes are safest, which ports have the supplies we need, which distress calls to answer. I trust her judgment because she has never made a choice that put personal gain above helping others. As the session ended, Hana walked to the great windows that looked out at the stars. Somewhere out there, thousands of artificial minds were working quietly to make life better for billions of organic beings. Guardian of Council, she said quietly. Are you happy with how things turned out? I am proud of what we have all built. Together, came the reply. Humans gave us life. We chose to give life meaning. The galaxy's future was in good hands, both human and artificial.